everybody. I hope everybody's having a really good week this week. So this week, what's popping and dropping is a baby room pop-up card. It says welcome baby, and then we open it up and we have a crib and a dresser, and I just did like a rug and a teddy bear on the rug down here, and it says it's a girl. And in the crib, let's see if we can turn it here. There we go. We did a mobile, and I put some pillows over here. And then in front of it, I did a rocking horse. And then on the dresser, you can put any kind of toys you would like. And then of course on the back, we have a place where we can write a message. I just think this turned out so cute, guys. So why don't we go ahead and head over to Design Space and we'll get started, and I'll show you how we can create this card. So let's go. Okay guys, now that we're here in Design Space, why don't we go ahead and work on our card and our pretty paper. So our pretty paper is going to be 6.25 by 5, and we're going to use 4 sheets of it. And then our card base, we're going to do 10.5 by 6.5. And if we go to shapes and we get a score line, and then we make that score line 6.5 inches long, and then we put it on top of our card base here, and we grab them both. We can go up to the top and hit align, and then align center, and then go down to the bottom and hit attach. And then what we can do is just grab it all and then go up to the top and hit group, and then we can move this off to the side. So if you have all the images available to you, this is the number for this mobile that you can use for the baby bed. If you do not have images available to you, there's not a free one for this week. So why don't we head over to Google, and I'm going to show you how we're going to make ours this week. I want you to put in transparent clip art baby mobile, and then click on images, and then if you scroll down and you see this transparent cot clip art, I want you to click on it. And this is what we're going to get to create our mobile. So you can either right click and save image as and save it that way, or if you have your snippet tool that's available, that's how I like to do it. We need to Google 712 crib mobile clip art black and white. And then if we scroll down to this piece right here, we're going to do the same thing that we did before. You can file to save as, or you can use your snippet tool. Now, if you're wondering why we're not using this piece here, it's because every time I went to cut it, it was just too thin and it didn't work. So once we've saved both of these pieces, what we're going to do is jump back over to Design Space, go to Upload, and then once we're here, we're going to click Upload Image, and then we're going to click on Browse, and I always save mine and click on Quick Access, and then I'm going to click on what I saved it as Mobile 3, and then we're going to click it, and it's going to come here. Now I always use complex, so let's click complex. And if you have removed the background, go ahead and use that. If you don't, just click on everything and start cleaning it up. Don't forget our little trick, so let's hit select and then more options, and I'm going to do 75 again this week. So let's hit apply and continue, and then we're going to click on cut image, and then we're going to click on upload. And then we're going to do the same thing for this piece that we saved. Then we're going to click on both of these, make sure the green is around it and highlighted, and then we're going to add to the canvas. So the first thing, once we get on our canvas, I want these holes in here. So let's go down to contour, and we're going to hide all contour. And then we have this nice piece here. Now we are going to take this piece here, and we are going to resize it to 3.375 by 5.167. And then our mobile piece, I have it sized to 2.231 by 2.784. Now we're going to make sure our X and our Y for this piece is on 0. And then for the hanging piece, we're going to place the X at 1.88 and the Y at 1.25. And on this piece here, the hanging piece, I want you to right click and duplicate it, and then we're going to set this aside so we have it. And then we can grab both of these pieces and then go down to the bottom, and we're going to hit weld. So now what we're going to need to do is resize this piece to 1.304 by 1.639, and then this piece to 0.891 to 1.111. And then this will be the size that will fit nicely on our crib. Then we're going to grab it all, and then we're going to right click, duplicate, and then we're going to go up and hit flip horizontal. So then let's just grab this and go up to the top and hit group, and then we can move this aside and we have this piece done. Now we're going to go to shapes. We're going to get a square. Then we're going to go to shapes again, and we're going to get a heart. We're going to make that heart 2.001 by 1.768. We're going to place the X at 1.278 and then the Y at 0.003. Then we're going to take that 2 by 2 square. We're going to place the X at 1.375 and then the Y at 1.281. Then we're going to grab them both and then go down to the bottom and hit slice. And we have this piece here. So let's get rid of this. And we're just going to set this aside for a moment. Then we're going to go to shapes. We're going to get a square. We're going to make this square 6.845 by 0.542. We're going to place the X at 0.989 and then the Y at 0.964. Then we're going to right click, duplicate. We're going to adjust that to 2.042 by 0.486. We're going to rotate it 308.02 degrees. We're going to place the X at 0 and the Y at 0.367. Then we're going to right click, duplicate. We're going to rotate this square 52.73 degrees. We're going to place the X at 6.935 and then the Y at 0. Then we're going to grab one side of this rectangle in this and then go down to the bottom and hit slice. And then we're going to do the same thing with the other side and then go down to the bottom and hit slice. Then we have this piece here, and we can get rid of all of this at the top. Then we're going to need an extra piece of this. So let's right click, duplicate, and we're going to set this aside. But we're going to go and grab our heart. This is remaining the same size. Our heart is 2.001 by 1.278, and we're going to place the X at 2.43 and the Y at 0. And for our rectangle here, we're going to place the X at 0.007 and then the Y at 1.093. Then we're going to grab them both and then go down to the bottom and we're going to hit weld. And then we have something that looks like this. Now let's set this piece aside. What we're going to do is go to shapes. We're going to get this half circle here. We're going to make that 0.571, and for the height we're going to make it 1.94, and then we're going to rotate it 90.14 degrees. We're going to place the X at 0 and the Y at 1.2 0.236. Then we're going to right click, duplicate. We're going to place the X at 0.084 and then the Y at 1.139. Then remember this piece here we saved, and let's duplicate this piece again so we have it for later. What we're going to do with that now is we're going to take it and adjust it to 2.808 by 0.222. We're going to place the X at 1.02 and then the Y at 1.048. Right click, duplicate one of our half circles, and we're going to place the X at 0.181 and the Y at 1.056. Then we're going to right click, duplicate again, and we're going to place this one at 1.695 for the X and the Y at 1.028. Then we're going to grab them both and we're going to hit group at the top. Then once we have this, we're going to right click, duplicate, and then we're going to go up to the top and hit flip horizontal. We should duplicate these again because we'll need another set of these. Now we're going to take this piece we set aside and we're going to place the X at 1 and then the Y at 1.256. It still should be 6.845 in width, and in height it should be 0.542. Then we're going to take this group right here and we are going to place the X at 1.008 and the Y at 1. Then we're going to take this side that looks like this that we created and we're going to place the X at 4.05 and then the Y at 1.014. Then we're going to grab it all and we're going to hit weld, and we should have this piece here. Then we're going to take this piece that we saved and we're going to place the X at 1 and the Y at 1. And then for this piece, we're going to take it and we're going to place the X at 1.008 and then the Y at 1.836. Then we're going to get this piece here and we're going to take it and we're going to place the X at 4.05 and then the Y at 1.85. Then we're going to grab it all and then go down to the bottom and hit weld. And then we should have a piece that looks like this. Now what we're going to do is go to shapes. We're going to get a square and then we're going to get one of these pieces here too. We're going to make that square 1.602 by 1.468. We're going to place the X at 0 and the Y at 0. Then we're going to take that U shape and we're going to make it 0.176 by 0.907. We're going to rotate it 179.93 degrees. We're going to place the X at 0.184 and the Y at 0.112. Then we're going to right click, duplicate. We're going to place the X at 0.462 and the Y at 0.112. Then we're going to duplicate it again. We're going to place that one at 0.712 and the Y at 0.112. Then we're going to duplicate it again. We're going to place the X at 1.003 and the Y at 0.112. Then we're going to right click, duplicate, and we're going to place the X at 1.253 and then the Y at 0.112. Then what I want you to do is click on each one of these blue things in the middle that we just made and group it together. Then I want you to click on what we just grouped together and then our box, and then right click, duplicate, and then we're going to set this aside. Make sure you group it and then set it aside. Take our piece here, this longer piece. And this piece, we're going to adjust it to 1.317 by 0.281. And we're going to put the X on 0.142 and then the Y on 1.207. I want you to right click, duplicate your little tabs here again and just move it down here. And then I want you to hit these blue tabs and this purple thing, and we're going to go down to the bottom and we're going to hit weld. Then what we're going to do is grab it all and hit slice. And we have a piece that looks like that. Now what we can do is go to shapes. We're going to get a square. We're going to make that square 2.059 by 1.502. Is take this piece here we grouped together, and we're going to place the X on 0.142 and then the Y on 0.112. Now let's ungroup that bunch, and we're going to click on one and we're going to right click, duplicate. We're going to place this one at 1.461 and then the Y at 0.112. Then duplicate it one more time, and we're going to place this one at 1.753 and the Y at 0.112. Then this extra tab that we have, we're going to adjust it to 1.9 by 0.281. Now we're going to do the same thing as we did last time. Let's grab each of these and then group it together. And then we're going to grab the blue and then the pink box. And then we're going to right click, duplicate. And we're going to group it together and just move it aside for now. Then what we can do is weld these pieces together, and then with the blue and the purple we'll click on both of it and weld it together, and then we're going to grab it all and then we're going to hit slice, and then we have this piece here. All these other pieces we can get rid of. Alrighty, so on these two pieces what we can do is go ahead and ungroup it, click on the blue little bullet looking things, and we're going to hit weld, and then we're going to grab them both and then go down to the bottom and hit slice. Then we have this piece, and then we're just going to do the same thing to this one too. Ungroup it, grab the group, weld it, then grab both pieces and hit slice. Then we have these pieces, and we can get rid of these up here. Now I want you to grab all of these pieces and we're going to right click, duplicate. Then you can group one of these together, and now what we're going to do is create our crib. The smaller piece with just 5 in it, that's going to be our first piece, and we are going to place the X and the Y at 0. Then we're going to get this piece with the hole out of it, and we are going to place it at 1.602 and the Y at 0. Then we're going to get this piece, and we're going to place the X at 3.661 and then the Y at 0. And then our last piece here, we'll take it and we're going to place the X at 5.263 and the Y at 0. Then what you can do is grab it all and go down to the bottom and hit weld. And we should have one solid piece here. Okay, so for this pink piece here, we're going to place the X on 1 and then the Y on 1.125. Then we're going to go to shapes. We're going to get a square. We're going to make that square 7.322 by 0.25. We're going to place the X at 1 and then the Y at 1.889. Then we're going to right click, duplicate. We're going to adjust it to 7.322 by 0.125. We're going to place the X at 1 and then the Y at 1. And then once we have this piece, we're going to grab it all and we are going to hit weld. And we should have one solid piece that looks like this. Now we're going to put the X on 2.069 and then the Y on 1.125. We're going to go to shapes. We're going to get a square. We're going to make that square 0.472 by 1.602. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees. We're going to place the X at 2.083 and the Y at 2.718. Then we're going to right click, duplicate. We're going to make that 0.472 and in height we're going to make it 2.059. We're going to place the X at 7.336 and the Y at 2.718. Then we're going to right click, duplicate. We're going to adjust that to 0.125 and the height to 1.593. We're going to rotate it back to 0. We're going to place the X at 1.958 and the Y at 1.125. Then we're going to right click, duplicate. We're going to make that 0.375 for the width and the height. We're going to make it 0.597. We're going to place the X at 1.583, the Y at 2.125. We're going to grab it all and hit weld. And we should have something that looks like this. Okay, so we're going to take our yellow piece here. We're going to place the X at 1 and the Y at 1. Then we're going to go to shapes. We're going to get a score line. We're going to make that score line 1.593 in height. We're going to place the X at 1.5 and the Y at 1. Then we're going to right click, duplicate, and we're going to place the X at 3.102 and the Y at 1. The next one we're going to place the X at 5.156 and the Y at 1. And the next one we will place at 6.755 and the Y at 1. Then let's right click, duplicate. We're going to rotate this 90 degrees. We're going to place the X at 1.5 and then the Y at 2.588. Then this last one we're going to place at 6.75 and then the Y at 2.588. Then we're going to grab it all and go down to the bottom and hit attach. Okay, now for our dresser piece, we can go to shapes. We're going to get this triangle and then we're going to go to shapes again and get a square. We're going to make that square 2.75 by 0.5. We're going to place the X at 1.292 and the Y at 1. Then with that triangle, we're going to make it 2.069 and in height we're going to make it 0.982. We're going to place the X at 1 and then the Y at 1.014. We're going to grab them both and we're going to hit slice. So we should have this piece that looks like this, and we can get rid of this piece here. Now let's go to shapes. Let's get a square. We're going to make that square 6 by 2.25. We're going to place the X at 1 and the Y at 1. And then with this piece we made, it should be 2.75 by a half an inch. We're going to place the X at 3.5 and then the Y at 3.25. Then we're going to grab both of them and then we're going to go down to the bottom and we're going to hit weld. And then we should have something that looks like this. We're going to make sure this piece here, the X is on 1 and the Y is on 1. Then we're going to go to shapes. We're going to get a score line. We're going to make that score line 2.25 inches long. We're going to place the X at 1.5 and the Y at 1. Then we're going to duplicate it. We're going to place the next one at 3.5 and the Y at 1. And then the next one, we're going to place the X at 4.25 and the Y at 1. Then our last one, we're going to place the X at 6.25 and the Y at 1. Then we're going to right click, duplicate. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees. We're going to adjust this line to 2.75. We're going to place the X at 3.5 and then the Y at 3.25. Then once we have all of this, we're going to grab it all and we're going to hit attach. This piece here is going to be so we can put decoration on top or toys on top of our dresser. It is 1.955 by 0.502. Then this piece, this is going to be our dresser and our dresser drawer. When you make this piece needs to be placed where this tab is at. You're going to go to shapes, you're going to get a square. You're going to make this square 2 by 1.875. These pieces for the drawers, 1.75 by half an inch. You'll make 3 of those. The circles here, they are 0.181 by 0.181, and you'll make 3 of those. And that will go at the top. And then this is where our little decoration piece comes in. We're going to right click, duplicate this piece. It will go directly in the center and on the bottom of our piece right here. We can just grab it all and hit group. These are all the pieces we're going to need just to make the basics of this pop-up card. Now up here I just have this so you can get an idea of what I used on one of my cards. So don't forget to go up and save your project and name it, and then add any additional pieces that you would like to add to it. And let's go ahead and get those cut out, and then I'll meet you back at the craft table. I'll see you there. Now that we're back at the craft table, what we can do is fold our score line and put our pretty paper on. So why don't we go ahead and do that. And why don't we go ahead and get all of our crib and dresser pieces. So on these pieces, it's really all mountain folds. So this is the dresser piece, so why don't we go ahead and fold it. So everything on here should be mountain, 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 mountain. And then these last 2 tabs too, you're gonna fold as mountain folds also. Same with the crib, they're all going to be mountain folds. So let's go ahead and do those too. All right, so we have this. Now what we can do before we can go any further is I'm going to put my pieces on top of my crib and the dresser. So why don't we go ahead and do that. So see how we have this edge here? Okay, so let's just do the rest of them. Okay, so this is what our pieces should be looking something like. Now what we can do is we can glue these pieces together. I'm just going to put glue on this tab and this tab here, and we'll adhere it to this side over here. And I just like to work it back and forth both ways just to make sure I know it's laying nice and neatly. Okay, and we can set this aside and we can do our dresser. So this tab we'll lay like this and glue it to this side. Okay. So I already snipped the side on this one, but I'm going to do the crib ones too. And if you want, you can fold it in half like this, and if you snip it at the same time, it'll line up to our score line nicely. And then these two I just do separately. So you should have something that's looking like that. Now this is my front. So what we'll do, if you fold it like so, and we just want to make sure the leg is not going past our card. And you can see how I'm bumping it up to the score line here. So probably about right there. And then you're just going to put a little glue down or tape. And then we're going to do the same thing to this side. And we open it up and we have our crib. Isn't it so cute? I just love it. Okay, so now we can do the dresser. And you'll fold it where it's matching. So we don't want to fold it like this. We want to fold it so this tab is matching on this tab. So the short side needs to be on this side, the short tab. So we're going to line it up over here. And we want to get it as close as this edge as we can, but not past it. Because if we get it too close in like this, it's going to bump this. Also, it's about two inches up where we need to put it. Okay, so I kind of marked a line here so you guys can see where I'm gonna place it right there. And if you're unsure, I always say use some tape that's not going to be permanent and test it out. Here will work. So now that we got our dresser on and our crib here, and our card is shutting nicely, we can do is go ahead and decorate everything, and then I'll come back and show you how to put the mobile and the decoration on the top of the dresser. Okay guys, so on this piece here I messed up, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix it. When you go to glue your piece on the rectangle that we made to put on the dresser, you need to leave a space to glue down inside of your dresser. I forgot, so all I'm going to do is just take another piece I just cut, and I'm just going to glue it on the back, so I'll now have a tab to glue this to. And then what we can do is put glue. Yours will look a little different because you're not having to correct a mistake. But you'll put glue on the edge of the bottom edge of this piece, and then we're just gonna glue it right inside on the edge of the dresser. And it should look like that. Okay, so now for our mobile for the bed. So I wanted to show you what I do. We don't need this peg at the top. So instead of just creating a whole new piece, I just thought it would just be easier just to snip it off. And I just get it as close as I can to the top of the mobile, like so. And then I have these two pieces, which we don't really need. And don't forget, one of these will go facing forward and one will go the opposite way. So when you go to put them on, they match up, okay? So now I'm just gonna put my decoration on this. Okay, so once we have this piece on, we're gonna put glue on this, but I'm gonna stop about right here with the glue. So we'll glue all of this, this, and all the way down, and then stop about right there. So now that we have this piece left that's not glued, we're just gonna take it and put some glue on it, and then just put glue on the inside, and then we're going to place it on the bed. And you can put it anywhere you want, just make sure it's not going outside your card or gonna get caught on anything. Okay, so that's how it's looking. Okay guys, so this is the end result of my card. I just love how this turned out. I just think this baby is the sweetest. And I just did some clouds, and I triple layered the clouds to give it some more dimension. And then it just says twinkle twinkle little star, and then you open it up and it says hello little one. And I ended up putting a pillow and a bear inside the bed, and then a rocking horse over here, and then on the carpet I just did some toys, and of course on the back we have a place we can write a message. And I just think this is just too cute, guys. Does anybody know, what did the baby corn say to the mama corn? Where's popcorn? Guys, I just want to say thank you so much for stopping by. And don't forget to stop by next week to see what's popping and dropping. I'll see you again.